Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 604. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games, brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Another Capcom survival horror video game joins the list. This year, it is not a Resident Evil. It's a Dino Crisis. The second one, to be precise.
Well, we already played
Before
a
we
Resident
dive into
Evil,
that,
to be fair.
this year,
Yeah, Resident Evil 5.
yeah, I know, but still. What's your favorite dinosaur, Matt?
Oh, I like like Raptor is an obvious answer for a lot of different reasons, but I do like those little boys that are quick and nimble.
That's my go-to too. I don't know what they are. I'm looking at a chart here of dinosaurs, and I've got like the uh Compsognathus.
Okay, all right.
They look like little fellows. Yeah, just like weird little mini raptors almost. Is that what you're kind of thinking? Like the little.
Yeah, I don't even think they might be herbivores. To be honest, the ones I'm thinking of. Yeah, they usually
Yeah.
run in a pack, super quick, just scurry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the Triceratops is a weak answer, but I like the look of the Triceratops. It's
Okay.
a very I feel like it's unique in terms of its I guess rhinos kind of have that, don't they? But yeah, I don't know. They just got like a weird shaped head. Cool. Pretty cool. Were you much into dinosaurs as a kid?
Not really. I think I like the aspect of them more than I did like I don't know, like the history of them. Like they were here before us. That kind of significance, but not like
Yeah.
I'm not seeking out the land before time because I'm into dinosaurs. You know?
You weren't the dinosaur kid. Yeah, no, I
No.
get it. No, I wasn't either. I think like all 90s children, we kind of had to like dinosaurs in a way. To the extent that like I think all three Jurassic Park movies in the theater or drive-in or whatever. Played the Jurassic Park video game for Sega Genesis. Uh yeah, but no, I wasn't like I don't think I had a T-Rex shirt. I kind of wish I had a T-Rex shirt now, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't like, yeah, my thing.
I did like the Raptors color scheme before they changed it. Toronto, the
Oh,
classic.
yeah, right. Yeah, and I think that was a cool byproduct of the sorry, I ate a cracker like right before we started recording and it was a mistake.
But you had all the I don't know. There was a logos. That's a different tangent, but I'm just thinking logos. The Grizzlies
Oh,
were good at
man.
that time. Like so many
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, when they added the Grizzlies and the Raptors, that was great. The Wizards also had a great logo. I hate the modern Wizards logo. Um, it's weak, but it's fine and it unifies all
Oh,
the
it's
Washington
it's
teams.
okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
I know
but
why they
like
did it.
whenever, yeah, I just saw a dude in New York with a retro Wizards jersey and hat on, and I was like, that's the good look, man. That's the. It was just like with the actual wizard on it. Yeah, it
I
looks
missed that
much better.
blue for the Caps. They had that all blue jersey, the
Yeah,
alternate, that like aqua. It was so good.
yeah. It's a shame. Dino byproducts. Aren't we all just dino byproducts?
Sure.
Dino Crisis as a byproduct of Resident Evil, as mentioned. Developed by Capcom, published by Capcom, released for the PlayStation, first in North America on September 30th, 2000. The back of the box reads Hunter or Hunted. 1 year has passed since Regina's fight for survival against prehistoric dinosaurs and the capture of the rogue Dr. Kirk. Third energy research continued recklessly. Another accident was imminent. Suddenly, an entire town devoted to third energy research mysteriously vanished. Now, a search and rescue mission to recover survivors, uncover the mystery, and locate the missing research data begins. Armed with the latest in heavy artillery, only Regina is prepared for the adrenaline pumping prehistoric challenge the team will soon encounter. Pure terror! That wasn't like a pull quote. That was the very last 2 words of the full paragraph were pure terror. We do have some breakout images here. My favorite thing now, knowing what I know about the game, is both of these images take place in that final, I guess not final, but before you go to the city and you're on, I forget what it is, what the name of the area was. Was it the third research facility or
Yeah,
whatever?
there
Like,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where you have to walk across like the catwalk and the big long neck dinosaurs come out of the water. On the back of the box, you get 2 of the 3 screenshots are from that area, both as Dylan. So the whole back of the box tells you about Regina. It doesn't mention Dylan at all, but yet 2 of the 3 screenshots are you playing as Dylan in that spot. We've got one that reads, more dinosaurs, more environments, more weapons. The second one, he's facing a different direction, shooting a different... Features new, intense, fast action gameplay. And then we do have a screenshot of Regina fighting one of the, what is it, Allosaurus, the big T-Rex looking guy. And it says second generation dino predatory AI.
Okay.
Because, the first generation dino predatory AI was all the rage, only that much better. And then the sequel to the blockbuster survival horror hit. So, Matt, you added Dino Crisis 2 to our list. I guess I have many questions. One, why 2? Why not 1?
So okay. So right around the time of like probably the main time frame of picking my games, I stumbled across right around this time, there was a mod. Well, not like a fan made mod. That's been going across a bunch of the Capcom survival horror games. So Resident Evil has a couple of them already, but Dino Crisis 2 got its what is called Rebirth mod. And one of the streamers I watch was playing through it, and I realized that this is not just Resident Evil with dinosaurs. This is like the original Resident Evil 4. This game is not survival horror. There's this weird combo system that gives you currency. It doesn't play like I expected it to, not knowing what it exactly was, but knowing what the first game was, because I had seen the first game kind of play through. So, yeah,
And the first one is more
it
Resident
leans
Evil with
more that
dinosaurs?
way. It might have
Yeah,
a
okay.
touch more action, but it doesn't have like this combo system and stuff like that. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, I thought it was really weird that like everyone's like, oh, Resident Evil 4 is like the action horror game. And it's like, I think Dino Crisis 2 I think did it first.
Yeah, and now having played that, what were your expectations of it going into it? That it would
Well,
be more action?
yeah, I mean, if you were to ask me before, I mean, I don't know if it makes it on the list though without me knowing it, but like I just thought it was another survival horror with dinosaurs, just the second one of those in a different location or whatever. But kind of knowing the first bit, like I want to say I saw most of the like Regina's first run through the jungle, and I kind of when I stopped knowing I might be putting this on the list. So kind of seeing a lot of that, I knew how this game kind of played and all that. So I kind of knew what to expect. I just didn't know what like the second half of the game would bring me.
Have you played many of the like tank control era video games for PS1?
No, this has like been my renaissance with those going through the list. Really.
Yeah. How do you feel it's been adapting to those? Because we had it last year with CVX, Code Veronica X. Now we've got it with this, although this one feels a bit more fluid.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I did not realize you could run while aiming for the longest time.
Oh yeah, no, I knew that.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
That's a good feeling. I didn't expect that you could, and I think I did it by accident, just trying to get out of the way of something, and then I was like, wait, you can move while you're...
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it took
shit,
me
never
like late into like the first bit of Dylan's part to realize,
Yeah.
oh, no, honestly, I'm getting used to him now. This point, this one moves a little
Yeah.
bit better. It's not as like, I don't know. It's not as bad as like classic RE1, 2, and 3, I would say.
No,
But
not at all.
yeah, this felt alright. But like the aiming and moving helped a lot.
Yeah. So in 2000, this comes out. Neither of us play it for 25 years. What are you playing in 2000 instead of Dino Crisis 2?
Oh god, well this is like 8-year-old me don't have disposable income, so probably just whatever's coming my way. Honestly, I've said it before, but like a lot of the sports games are around this time. Try to play
Yeah,
baseball. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a wrestling game in there, like a SmackDown or something.
sure.
Um, yeah, it's mostly that stuff, I would say.
Looking at the list of like stuff that came out and was popular that year, I can tell you that I probably spent a lot of my time with The Sims, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2,
Have that one.
Pokemon Yellow,
Didn't
although
have
it was
that.
Yellow here in 2000, probably. I did not play Majora's Mask. I still haven't finished Majora's Mask, but I do remember a friend of mine getting it and uh me kind of hanging and watching him play it. So yeah, that it's definitely that era for me. Is Perfect Dark out this year or is that the year after?
I don't
I don't
remember,
remember. Yeah.
but that's a good point.
But yeah, it was a lot of N64 and PS1 stuff in this era for sure. And a lot of like rentals. Um Blockbuster was big at the time. Alas, here we are. So do you remember the story at the beginning of this game? Because I do not at all.
You, my silence, I think, is deafening. It's something.
I remember
It's something
the
about going
shot.
back in time because of the third
Yes.
energy stuff, and that stuff is what brought the dinosaurs to that facility in the first game. Like that is the rough
Yes. Okay.
gist of the first game that I know. And I know you do, but I forget like the main. Oh, you're looking for survivors. You're looking for survivors of something gone awry, I think.
The only thing I have written down about the beginning of the game is I love the cheer after shooting a rocket at a T Rex in the opening cutscene. So I know that that at least happens right off the jump. But yeah, that's about it. What is Trat?
No idea. Time
I didn't look it up.
recursion, time recursion, anti travel. I don't know. I know that's not it.
Apparently, it's the Tactical Reconnoitering and Acquisition Team. Trat.
Got him.
There you go. So yeah, we start the game. Regina returns from the first one, and then there's Dylan, a Trat member. He's joining the journey. Um, Besides the fact that we're both kind of like clueless on that part, do you feel now, or did you feel while playing that this game is something you could play without having played the first one? Like, did
Yeah.
you ever feel lost?
No. I don't really felt like the story was like forefront in this one. It was kind of like once you got past that opening scene, I think you can. I don't know. Again, I knew a little bit of the backdrop of the first game, so when they said third energy, I remember that being a thing, and I know remember like time travel was a thing being researched in the first game. That's kind of how the dinosaurs got involved. Um, so I guess like with that little bit of a backdrop, I once they said third energy and they were going back into this stuff, I was like, all right, well, continuation of research. Something went wrong. Researching again. We're looking for survivors. And honestly, if you kind of just know, if you just like kind of look for the objective, you'll. I don't. I feel like you can catch up with the story with a couple of those like diary entries or journals or whatever you find. Data are they data
Yeah,
disk in this game technically, right? Something like that.
that sounds right. Or key files or something like
Yeah,
that.
I feel like with a couple of those, you get the third energy explanation and you can kind of catch up.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Um, yeah, and there's not much story within the game itself. Like I feel like there's cutscenes that happen that just sort of like progress the plot along, where it's like, oh, now there's these characters that come along that ran that way. We should probably go that way. It's things like that, but like you really don't get a story until the very end when they're kind of wrapping things
Yeah, you
up.
got the lore dump room.
Exactly, yeah. Which we'll come back to the end in a bit.
Those
I have a
cutscenes are
couple of
glorious,
questions.
though. Those cutscenes are
I
glorious.
love the cutscenes, love the acting, I love everything about it. Yes, dude,
Fucking
it's
diving at.
so good.
Yeah, it's.
Uh, I David was my favorite part by the end. His just did I write down what he
I had David sucks right before a pivotal moment.
Oh, okay. Did you have David sucks right before he climbed up that thing at the
Yeah.
Got it.
Right
Yep.
after you were
Okay.
guarding him and that mini game with the turret blasting the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, got it. That's the part. Yeah, he says something there which I understand why you would have written down David sucks. I yeah, what does he say? Does he say I'm awesome
It's
or
something. I wish I would have wrote it down, but
I know. I
alas,
was yeah,
David sucks.
uh,
Well,
David
all right.
does. Um So how do you describe gameplay in Dino Crisis 2? You set it up a little bit before that it's more action oriented. But yeah, what's the hook?
Yeah, so the tank control is a little more fluid, just like we were discussing. But the thing here is like, um, you like kind of the dinosaurs, unless you really stay in an area to try to milk the currency thing. The dinosaurs keep respawning, especially like the
Mm-hmm.
main thing is like when you move from like angle to angle, like classic RE, the fixed camera angles. When you kind of pivot those camera angles, dinosaurs respawn. It's usually 3 at a time, and you just kind of run through and you're blasting away these dinosaurs, and it's kind of encouraged because you'll see a little combo and a number pop up at the top of the screen. And as you kill a dinosaur, you'll combo one, kill the next one, combo two, and you'll see it start to fade. But if you kill a dinosaur in enough time, you get a combo three, combo four, and then when you leave that area and you get like the door loading screen, you'll get a score based on your combo, based on yeah, pretty much just like how many dinosaurs you killed, your highest combo on that in that area, and if you get a bonus if you were not hurt and you got like you amassed a high enough combo, not like for killing one dinosaur and not getting hurt. If you killed like I think 4 or 5, you got like that
Yeah,
bonus.
yeah,
Um, so then like you get those points, and then you kind of get to your first save station, but your save station happens to be a merchant in disguise, and
exactly. Yeah, dude.
and
Full
then you
upgrade
realize those
station.
points are your currency, and you can buy health at an unlimited rate. You can restock your ammo at an unlimited rate. You'll find as you progress the game, there is new weapons, there are new items, items to help with health in some way, or there's these cards like much later in the game, but like, you can buy these
Yeah,
cards that extend the time frame on your combo, so that way you could earn more points. Um, it's kind of insane, and then yeah, like once you kind of realize that, if you didn't realize that going into the game, you are wholly encouraged to go balls out shooting dinosaurs and not playing this
yeah.
as your typical survivor horror run from the. You're taking the attack to them because you want the currency almost. Yeah, it plays totally different than I would say even Dino Crisis 1, but like more popular,
Yeah.
like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. Plays completely different than them.
Right. And that's been my aversion to this for so long is going back to those old Resident Evils has always felt tough to do today. And now of course the remakes are out and you kind of don't need to. You should, right? Like if you're curious about them or whatever, and they are different games, but you know, story wise, you get that plus some really good gameplay in the two remake forward. With this one, what I love about the extinction point system and that whole upgrade system is that you do choose a difficulty when you start the game. At least this is the North American PlayStation version. There's differences between
Yeah,
some of the
yeah.
versions with difficulty stuff. But in this version you do, but even beyond that, like you get this like unspoken difficulty shift, right? Like if you're bad at the game, or rather you're having a tough time and it's difficult to stay alive, you can spend more of your upgrade points just buying health items and stuff to keep you alive during fights and stuff like that. Conversely, if you're better at the game, you're rewarded with not having to buy so many recovery materials, and you can spend that stuff on the upgrades or the new weapons or things like that. Um, you also, I I tested it just to see because there was one spot I forget what I wanted. Like maybe it was the vest or whatever later on in the game that you get that like
Mm-hmm.
cuts all the damage you take in half. Something like that I was like a couple thousand extinction points shy of because I just bought like some upgrade or some weapon or something. So I was like, well, I know a spot where there's like a good run. I can go there and I can just shoot dinosaurs and whatever and rack up some points. You do hit a point in certain areas. There might be key areas you can go to where this doesn't happen, but where the dinosaurs stop respawning and you need to interact with a save point before it fully respawns like the cycle. Um, but you can kind of like run in those certain sections and just like do that, rack up that combo. If you know exactly where they will jump out from and you're good and you're fast enough, it's easy enough to like keep that combo going and refrain from getting hit, which gives you like is it 6k every time you don't get hit?
No, it depends. It varies based on either from what this isn't like me
Yeah,
knowing, but
yeah.
like either the higher the combo, the highest combo you got, or the difficulty of
Okay.
the dinosaurs in the area.
Got it. Okay. I just felt like most times I was getting it, it was like in those good like raptor areas or whatever, and I kept seeing like six across, but that makes sense. Um, yeah, and I don't know, man. I loved it. I love that extinction point system. It was like immediately something I was like, oh, this is what this game is. I get it now. It all makes sense. Now I know exactly how to approach this, generally speaking. Um, and I feel like that is kind of the gameplay hook for the rest of the game. Um, you hit a point where it feels a bit more like Resident Evil, right? Where you're kind of doing like the go collect this thing to unlock this thing and then run back through the map to open that door. And yeah, it's a little bit of that. I think the difference here is like from what I remember of the old ones, and I think you have a more acute familiarity with the older ones than I do just from watching speedruns and stuff of them. But the old ones, like you either play Jill's playthrough or you play Chris's playthrough. You're not handing off to one or the other the way you are in this game. And in this game, you do a little bit as Regina, then you hit a point where you do a little bit as Dylan. Both of them have weapons that can unlock doors that the other one can't. So there's certain like incentive to go through and make sure you're unlocking those doors for yourself in the next run. Um, but also there's like a spot where like Dylan kind of gets trapped and or is it the other way around? Yeah, no,
Dylan
no.
gets
Dylan
trapped in
gets
the room.
trapped. Yeah, that's pretty early on. So you have to play as Regina to kind of go follow his footsteps and then get him out of whatever. Things like that. But yeah. Is there any other like major gameplay shift you would say throughout the game?
Each character plays differently too. So, of
Yeah,
course, the
good point.
close range, the melee weapons different for the doors, but like their guns are like just from the start are completely different, and then their
Yeah.
like what ends up being their weapon arsenal, it is per character. It doesn't cross. So, like with Dylan, you start right away with a shotgun. Regina has a pistol. I mean, it hits hard. I mean, it does pretty good for a pistol.
Yeah. I
Uh,
honestly did not get a new weapon for her until way too late in the game. I just hit a point in the game where I was like, uh, I never bought another weapon for her. I should probably change. And then I finally got the dual wield for her,
yeah.
and that yeah, great.
But like, yeah, like each character has a completely different weapon set that doesn't cross over at all. So yeah, it's a weird contrast because like I think you just I don't know with me I think I just associate tank controls like survival horror like nothing like I think that's part of the survival horror is the fact that like you gotta manipulate the world with these controls and it just
Yeah.
feels weird to like just constantly be holding the ready button and being okay just blasting away like that's just a weird feeling
And being okay like burning ammo
yeah
because if yeah, like who cares? Just go buy more. It's cheap. Like it's
Now, I
you'll
will
be
say the
fine.
caveat is I played on normal. It sounds like you did as well.
I think I did, yeah.
This game's completely different on hard.
Okay, so do you know what changes? Like what
So the
the
main thing on hard is that all the price of all the shit is 2x.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so you really got to do your combos and
Oh, you just can't do that though because you start with level 4 raptors. So,
all right.
game
So
gets
you
a little bit
shouldn't play
more
this game on
game gets
hard.
a little bit more difficult. I don't think there's any health pickups in the world. I think you have to buy all your health. I think it's
Oh
unlimited.
my
But yeah, like
gosh.
it really I think there's
Yeah,
a
okay.
reason like I know the speed run's typically done on hard, I think because there might be another reason too, but um
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's a different game on hard. Although I would say I would encourage you to play normal first, that way you can kind of get the feel for how the dinosaurs play and whatever. But yeah, it's a bit of a different beast on
Yeah.
hard.
What I feel like on normal, for me at least, this was one of the first games of this type in a long time where I felt like confident in just playing the game. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there were a few things where I got a little like misplaced, so I looked something up and just to double check that I was on the right track, but I in the end I didn't need to. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, I just feel like it's been a while since I've had a game where I didn't reference something. This one was very much just like you can kind of rely on the in-game map and the in-game stuff to like push you along to the next section and trust your instincts for any of the puzzles you have to solve. Like it was pretty straightforward in that regard. And I feel like if I'd been on hard, I would not have had the same experience. This was way more approachable being on normal, I think. Did you prefer playing as Dylan or Regina? Did you like one of their weapon sets better than the other?
I can't remember who had who. I really like that anti-tank rifle. That thing, Dylan had
I
it.
think that was Dylan, yeah.
Yeah, Dylan. That thing. Oh my god, that thing's amazing. I liked the shotgun. It was like a good pop off of it.
Yeah.
Um, I guess so. I guess Dylan at the end of the day, although you won't think Regina should be the.
I know, yeah, she's the I don't want to say titular character, but she's the highlight, right?
But it
She's in
wasn't
the
like
yeah.
one had so much better weapons than the other one. It was
No.
like trade off a shotgun for some more agility kind of stuff. But I never felt like underpowered because I was in an area with one character, not the other.
No, yeah, I never yeah. I think there's games that can make you feel like, all right, when do I get back to that section because this sucks. I think his shotgun was better out of the gate than her pistol was. But yeah, once you start buying some new weapons and upgrading those, which the upgrades for the weapon, we should be clear, are really just capacity,
Mm-hmm.
ammo capacity. It's
That
not like
that is
power
it. It's
upgrades.
just
Yeah.
capacity.
Um, and then, but those are also diminishing, or I guess the opposite, right? Like if you buy the level one upgrade, so to speak, you add a little bit, but you always get a little bit more bang for your buck. It's like microtransactions, but not for real money. But if you buy more, you get a little bit extra than you did if you just bought one at a time. If you buy the 2-pack, if you buy the 3-pack, you could eat anyway. Um, did you have a method for selecting upgrades, or was it just sort of like, well, I've got enough for that and it seems cool?
I always made sure I had health because I didn't know what I was going to run into, especially the
Yeah.
second half.
Yep.
I always made sure I was fully stocked on health, and then after that, I would make sure I was fully stocked on ammo. And then after that, depending on what I had left, I would probably upgrade like the gun I was using the most or what seemed like the most viable in that area. Usually that's second, like I paid $20 for this secondary currency, but I got $10 extra, on it. Not the 50 for the 25.
Yeah. I didn't need to go all the way, but that
Yeah, I was
middle.
usually
Yeah.
hitting that middle tier. And then I would look at the items. I didn't end up getting every item. Like I didn't get the increased melee weapons on either character because I never once chopped anything that
Did
wasn't a
do
door.
those, but I only did them because I thought we were going to hit a door that needed me to.
Mm,
And spoilers, you don't. Like
mm-mm.
you yeah. Because
Um,
yeah, like you, I never once didn't even know you could hit.
I kind of
Anybody with
forgot.
a
Yeah,
melee weapon.
exactly. I kind of forgot it was there
Yeah.
until I needed to hit a door. Um, so
The
yeah, no,
only time you do it, there is a requirement. There's one area where you need the what was the weapon, the something grenades or whatever, the
oh, those mines.
sling mines or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It was
Yeah,
your secondary weapon is a mine that like spray
yeah,
like it goes forward. Yeah, it was just in that cave.
yeah. You do need those to break down the rocks, and then also the fellas. I forget what those dinosaurs were called, but those guys you have to turn on their back. That's
I
the only way to kill
wasn't
them.
using them. I did do the extra crisis stuff. I found out that they were way more
Oh,
effective for that. But I was using another gun with them. I did
and
get
flipping
low on
them over.
ammo though, and had to
Okay,
resort to other stuff. But I did have
okay,
a method for dealing with them. That wasn't the mines.
interesting.
I forget which gun it was. I should
I
bring that up
thought,
in a
okay,
whole.
cool. That's good to know. There's more than just the one. Um, you do run into a few there's collectibles in the game to an extent. There's Matt mentioned before, they're like these files. They give you a bit of the story, kind of the flashbacks to what happened with the scientists on the island, or things like that. Those were kind of often right in your face. They were hard to miss, but the dino files were less so. Did you make it a priority to seek those out, or did you just happen on them?
I happened on them. I did like stumble upon one like by accident. I was like completely hidden. I don't know even know why I was in the area and hitting A or whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah, like that's when I kind of realized like, oh, these are like really hiding. Okay,
yeah. By the time I found one like off in a corner, like tucked under like a blown up car or something, I was like, oh, I
we
probably
may
missed a
have found the
bunch, and I
same one
did
because
like,
that sounds vaguely familiar to the
I,
one.
um, yeah. I in the end I didn't get them all in the first playthrough. I got 8 out of 11. Um, there's also a few mini games in this game, uh, so to speak. So you end up like the one Matt mentioned before with David, where you're like on a
It was like an
is that the
anti-air
one?
thing, but like
Yeah, it's like a cannon rocket
yeah.
thing. Um, earlier there's one on a boat where you have like a chain gun that you're shooting dinosaurs that are coming out of the water and flying at you and stuff. Um, did you have a favorite of those?
Probably the two on rail shooters, like the one in the water and the one where you're being chased by the dinosaur that you kind of can't kill. I forget the name of it. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, that
The
straight
one
up,
where you're in the back of the Jeep.
not even because it was like fun. I mean, it was good. It was fine. I had no problems with it, but like if straight up felt like I was playing the classic Jurassic Park game at a Chuck E. Cheese again.
It's yes, dude, that one, yes, very much so.
Like that first sequence in that Jurassic Park game with the T Rexes chasing you, like that, especially the one in land with the dinosaur coming up. It
Yeah.
memories of Chuck E. Cheese flooding back to me.
Yeah, I think these developers played that game for
Asking,
sure.
yelling upstairs to my wife,
Yeah.
I need more tokens.
I really like um the one in the like I want to call it like a construction area, but I don't know that it really was. But where you're like you're trading off with one or the other and you're shooting a flare
Oh
in the air
yeah.
to have
Mm-hmm.
the thing come down on you. I like that one where the big I think it's Allosaurus. He looks like a T-Rex, but it's not technically a T-Rex. Where he's coming at you and you have to like satellite call down the rockets from either Regina or Dylan, the opposite of whoever you're playing as. That one was cool. Um, one thing that stood out to me before the end of this that I wanted to call attention to is this the first video game with a good water level,
I don't know, maybe because it's not bad.
or did you hate the? Okay,
No, it's
did
not.
you
I
like the
like it's
what?
not like my
Yeah,
favorite part, but it's good. Like
yeah.
it works.
No, but as soon as it happened, I was like, oh boy, here we go. But then I was like, no, this is pretty dang good. Like you get a cool suit. I feel like having infinite ammo on the little trank gun or whatever that Regina has is great.
I bought the aqua grenade.
Oh, I did use those there, but I used them sparingly in that point. Yeah. I did not realize you could jump in that suit for way too long. I backtracked like 15 or 16 times.
Oh.
in
I
that area where you had to like hop over the thing to get to the door.
Yeah, I don't know what maybe I saw jump on an instruction manual at some point. I was like, is this it? Can I finally do it now?
Yeah,
Um
it that is
that
not
part
not
though, that part's like the creepiest part, and I think I know why after the fact. There's like no music. It's like the first time they cue the
completely
sound.
dropped out. Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
just that muffled water until those dinosaur, the one whatever. Again, if you got the
Yeah.
names, please. But the ones that swim,
I don't remember 'em. Yeah, yeah,
um, yeah, that's like the one like part that's kind of like I don't want to say creepy, but like you're like uneasy. I think for the first time in a while, and
yeah. Yeah.
in that
Also
area.
just like darker, yeah, quiet, incredibly quiet. And because you're in water, you feel a bit vulnerable. Um, all in all, though, I don't think I had too terrible of a time taking those out
Mm-mm.
or really taking anything out. Was there a dinosaur that gave you any particular difficulty? And how did you deal with it?
Um,
'Cause if it's the same one that I had, I need a strategy.
I don't recall. I don't have one written down either that I struggled with. I might defer to you. I might look up the enemies real quick.
Well, then I want to know how you dealt with, they're not pterodactyls, but for lack of remembering the actual term, what did you do with the pterodactyls? Because
Ran.
I couldn't. Even still, man, I would still get got occasionally.
I was
And if
serpentine. I
you,
was serpentining towards the end with those.
okay, I probably wasn't doing that well enough because they suck. They suck super hard. And if they knock you to the ground, which one of them often will, and then another one comes over and digs its claws into you, you're bleeding. And if you bleed in this game, you must heal with an item that can bandage you up. So
It's a
either,
hemostatin, right, or a hemostat or
yes,
something like
there's
that.
that will stop bleeding, or there's a large med pack
Oh
which
right,
will
yeah.
heal you and stop bleeding. Um, the obviously the large med pack
Is that
is
the
more expensive, so it's more cost
Pteranodon? Now that
effective
I'm
to
looking
go
at
the
all
other way.
these.
That might be the name of them. Yeah, they sucked. The only thing I could occasionally do okay with them was flamethrower, but you had to like time it just right for when they were like about to fly, and there were certain areas. There's one right before you get to the third energy facility where the camera angle just sucks so bad, where like they were always up above camera, so you didn't really see them and where they were flying in at to like time your flamethrower.
Yeah.
Ugh,
The one
hated it.
weapon I
Hated
did
it.
all right with them, but I didn't stick around long enough to really get the timing down. But Dylan's one weapon that has the shock that lingers for that second.
Oh
If you
yeah, that's
fire it out,
probably.
they like dive into it, and it's a one hit. At least on the what like the early stage ones. I don't know later in the game because again, I'm running by this point because
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
tired
By
of
the,
this
yeah,
enemy.
I hated them so much. Um, a little story adjacent, but do you feel like this game had a good ending? Do you feel like clearing the story felt complete?
I mean, they kind of leave you on a bit of a cliffhanger. The end of this game is just treated so weird, just because you get that lore dump thing, but Resident Evil does this nowadays too. But like so much, like this, just a slow dribble of information for close to like 6 hours, and all of a sudden the last hour you're just given like everything all at once. And then it ends the way it does. But like by the time I got to the end, though, I wasn't playing it for the story. I didn't really care
No,
anymore.
no, 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 not at all. Yeah.
Um,
No, but then the fact that they kind of brought it back, I was disappointed only in the fact that it was like, to me, and I won't spoil anything for people who are listening who have not played this. I won't spoil like some key, like any of the like big stuff, but like there's an implication at the end that you can play with time, or the characters will play with time to change the events of how the game ends. And from what I looked up, and maybe you know differently, that is not like I thought, like, okay, this is where I need to play through on hard because you get a different ending if you complete it on hard. Or this is where I need to play through a run where you don't get any upgrade, like one of those things where you get a special ending. I don't think there's any different endings depending on difficulty, new game plus, any of that. I think
no,
it's the ending is the ending.
that's the canon ending,
So
and
that sucks.
that's why this franchise is kind of a bit sour because the story is one of them. Because Dino Crisis 3 has nothing to do with this game.
That's what I saw. Yeah, like Dino Crisis 3,
It's
and it's
not
not
even
good
think.
either, right?
No, I don't. I've not seen a lot of gameplay of it, but there are
It was the
select.
Xbox exclusive one, right?
Yeah, there's people and or not on Xbox. There's people that I watch on stream that I kind of like. I've come to value their opinion some, and whenever they talk about Dino Crisis 3, it's not
I
very favorable. Um, no,
Let me
like
just say
Regina's
this.
not even in it
I'm
either. Like,
I was gonna say I just did a Command F and typed in Regine and nothing came up.
yeah, no Regina at all. It's just
That's weird.
completely different. It's weird.
Real weird. And that's it. That's just the end of the
Yeah.
series, yeah?
Yep.
Bizarre. Bizarre. Yeah. Um
I before moving off of gameplay or story or whatever,
yeah,
but
yeah.
did you how did you think how did you like that one gameplay segment of trying to capture the card from the dinosaur?
Oh, that was good. I honestly right before that kind of kicks off, I had been wandering around in that area already, just like looking through because there was something weird about the little doorway where like I just interacted with it where I was like, am I supposed to crawl through this because the door is locked? And I tried to like get ahead of the interaction telling me a door is locked by
Mm-hmm.
crawling through a thing. And I saw that it was like, you can't do this from this side or something like that. And then I got in, I got to the room where the cage was, and it said something about like there's a spoon inside or was that what it was or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Like either
some
way,
shiny thing. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And then you read the key file or the dino file for that dinosaur or whatever it was. Maybe it was the data file from the guy who talked about that particular dinosaur. And I was like, okay, something's gonna happen. So I started closing those things. And I was able to like probably faster than I should have bait him into where I needed to get him. Did that one mess you up? Did you get stuck on that
I
one
was
or
on
have
it
trouble?
for probably longer than I like to admit, but I didn't know that part was coming. Just because, again, the little bit of a speed run that I've seen, that is the biggest RNG part, and there's like three different
Mm,
patterns off the jump of him coming out that impact your time in that room, and it's like a run
yeah, that makes
killer
sense.
if not the
Yeah.
optimum is done. So like I with it being talked about now, did it help me when it came time? No strategy at all, but I did know it was coming, and it can be a pain in the ass.
I like yeah, even me like knowing after reading the thing, like, okay, I'm gonna have to interact with one of these things and seeing I put two and two together, the little gates were there. I'd closed all of the gates except for the one that leads into the cage room and I couldn't get him. He kept going down a different hallway. I had to like really fight with him to come back and do whatever. And eventually he went and it was fine. But yeah. Well, looking at visuals and sound before we get ready to close out on this one. How do you think the game looks today?
I think it
I
looks
know
alright.
obviously we're in today's standards, but yeah,
I
I
think
like nothing to me wasn't like readable. I feel like it had great overall like art direction and design. Characters are good. Dinosaurs look good.
I think a lot of things with the oh, what's it called, the pre-rendered background. I think a lot of that stuff
Yeah.
holds up quite well on PS1.
Yeah, they look really good. I'm also a big fan of the way this game's UI is treated. I feel like the menus are all spectacular. Interacting with the stations, I forget what they're called if they have a proper name, but like the menuing in there just feels like a 90s computer, but in the future. Like it all just works. I'm a sucker for all that stuff anyway, and it worked really, really well.
They kind
Um,
of do that, at least with like the buying the guns and the cartridges and stuff like that. They have like that Tomb Raider big circle.
yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of
100%. That
yeah, that like
loading, yes.
rotating. Yeah,
My favorite thing about that extinction points thing though is when you're recharging or refilling your ammo and you get the meter that fills. Oh, so good, dude. Yeah, that's great. From what you've seen of the first one, does this one look better at all, or is this about on par with DC1?
It's all daylight.
Dino Crisis 1's
No.
dark
Dino
out?
Crisis 2 is yeah. I mean, yeah, it's all done at night. It's all taking place at night.
Did not know
Again,
that.
leading into the survival horror aspect of that game. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
I honestly probably recommend go play both if you have access to them. But like, watch like the first 10 minutes of this game versus that game.
Yeah.
Completely different start on how anything is presented. And um, yeah, it's
I might check it out. I don't know. Every time we do something that involves me playing more on my Vita, I always end up wanting to play more on my Vita. So I'm having a good Vita renaissance right now. Maybe I'll do more. I, I don't know. But I'm also there's another PS1 game coming down later this year that I've started playing, so maybe I'll just stick with that for the time being. But um yeah, do you feel like the game has enough variety as we work through?
yeah. It's fine. I like the jungle. I think that each of the um like the indoor areas look different enough. I couldn't tell like if you gave me a photo, I probably couldn't tell you which one was which, but I like you can put them side by side and see the differences, I would say.
I agree with that, and I think like it does the Resident Evil thing of like you end in a lab. That was a nice fun.
Well, I mean, come on. The first
I
they're talking about
know,
third
yeah.
energy and time travel. If you didn't
Yeah, yeah,
expect a
yeah. How
lab,
could you not? But yeah, it was. I liked the progression of it. And when we got there, I was like, this really is. Yeah. Um, voice acting. Anybody stand out as good or bad or
it's to be expected from Capcom PS1 games at this point.
of this era? Yeah.
Yeah,
No, yeah, but I don't. Outside of like, what's his face? Dave.
David.
That is, yeah, David. Outside of him being kind of a goon, there was I like Dylan and Regina. Like I never heard anything from them that was like
Yeah, they're weird beef. I don't know. That's more the script than the voice acting, but
probably more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But there was no like Jill sandwich moment or whatever. Like any
no,
of those like yeah,
no, no.
or even like a what is a man kind of moment.
I
But
don't know, but I can't speak enough to whenever the survivor character kind of or characters came on screen and they would shoot and the gymnastics that Regina and Dylan would do to avoid amazing.
that yeah, that we also can't do. But yeah. Um, you talked before about the absence of sound. What about the presence of music at all? Like, is there a theme or something that stands out, or do you
I
just feel like that's
can't
general?
I can't like hum them or think of how they go, but I absolutely adored the save room or terminal music and the jungle.
Oh my God, yeah,
Running through that
yes,
jungle is awesome.
yeah,
It's like the
yeah,
scatter like beats like dun 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 dun. dun. It's really
yeah. This is good.
yeah, but yeah, I can't think of how it sounded in the other areas, but because I think you're just in the jungle so much of the
Yeah, you
game,
spend a lot of
I would
time.
say
Yeah,
about 50% of the game you're in that jungle. I mean, but it's
if not
big.
more.
It deserves to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
yeah, but no, like running through the jungle is awesome with that music.
yeah. I agree. We're gonna get ready and rank this, but while you change scenes here and pull up our thing, what's your lasting impression of Dino Crisis?
I like I'm going to come to bat and argue for this game being like the original like action horror game. Like whenever someone's like
Yeah,
Resident Evil 4 changed the game, I'm gonna be like Dino Crisis 2 did it first. I'm gonna start being that guy in the room now. Cause and I
yeah,
like the game. I think it's well done. How it's like it works. It works
yeah.
pretty well.
I feel like the characters are just as like iconic as any Resident Evil character are. I'm surprised this has not been remade. Like, I'm not knowing how three ended and how the series just sort of stopped, but it's weird now, like playing this that Capcom has not tried to revive it. And I do believe that they will bring it back. I feel like Exoprimal was, unless Exoprimal was them saying like, should we? And then no, like I don't know, but
Yeah, I don't know.
it's weird that they've not, especially seeing how like well Resident. Because I'm not saying Resident Evil was like Resident Evil is obviously much bigger than Dino Crisis ever was, just in terms of like general popularity and public awareness. But I feel like it just took a couple good remakes, and like Resident Evil is back completely better than whatever. And Capcom's just in its golden era right now. Just man, keep going. Just kill it. At the very least, let's get a Monster Hunter Wilds collab. At the very least. Um, would you play a remake or a sequel?
Uh, yeah, I'll come back to this for
Would you
sure.
play one?
I will probably go back to one at some point. I just don't. I don't know when, but I'm not opposed to it. Not especially coming off like Code Veronica and other stuff recently that we've been playing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bit more approachable. What would you change about this game?
not much. Not to say this is a perfect game, but I don't know how I would tweak it to make it better.
I think that's fair. I think maybe if you could,
I don't
maybe
want to
not.
say longer because I feel like it kind of was like right at the very end, beginning to outstay its welcome. But
Yeah, no, length was good.
you got there. Boss fights were fine.
Yeah, maybe more boss fights. I don't know. I don't know.
I just don't know how many.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, big dinosaur! Like like how many can he do?
Yeah, yeah. I think I guess if I'd change anything, it's sort of like the story. Like, yeah, I would have liked a bit more. And like
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
this, I'm not necessarily spoiling, but I guess if you're like you don't want to hear anything at all, but the part where we get the at the ending where you see the other character with the helmet on,
Mm-hmm.
is that meant to be Regina?
I don't think so.
Okay, I read into that too much.
I don't think so.
I thought it was just like that was a time traveling Regina part of the like time loop thing or something like that. And
I
I
I mean
thought maybe like
I'm not gonna sit here and say I know my Dino Crisis lore and rule you out, but I did not read into that.
I thought okay, we're gonna replay on hard or we're gonna do a new game plus. There's a separate section where now we have to go travel back in or forward and whatever it is, and we're the one in the helmet and we have to intervene with it. Yeah, I thought it'd be something like that, but either way, I would have done something like that. I would have done like a different little like something to make that story a little bit more. I don't know, because yeah, as far as I understand it, we're just supposed to assume that well things play out as they play out. What do you think Capcom or anyone else making video games should borrow from Dino Crisis 2?
In particular, I don't know. We don't do a lot with dinosaurs right now. So just literally just it's there for the taking.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you can do it right, you should chase dinosaurs. I would like more people to look at the upgrade system from this and the extinction points and the way I really like the balance of like input output. Like for everything that you kill, you're earning currency back that you can directly spend on everything in the game. Um, I also love there's no limitation on saving. There's no ink ribbons. There's none of, you know what I mean? There's no, that was great. It was a really
Well, I mean, even
approachable video game.
I mean,
I
we're
know, I
saying
know.
to borrow from like even that stuff's been cleaned up by Capcom, where like you have your hard mode where you can, but your
Yeah,
normal
yeah, yeah.
playthrough you're free, and checkpointing is also
Yeah,
very forgiving now too.
that's true. Final question. Do you like Dino Crisis 2?
I did, and I do. Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's
Yep.
a well put together game.
Yep. I agree.
Just
All right.
real quick on the extra crisis stuff. It
Oh
really
yeah, yeah.
it's just the mercenary mode. You do get different
Okay.
characters. They do bring back the two characters that were like Regina's side, like the people she infiltrated the facility with in the first game as characters to play
Okay.
as. I think you can play as raptors or dinosaurs as well, but I think it's like one of those things you have to play and unlock, or you have to keep playing
Yeah.
the main, like your new game plus or whatever, to get more like currency, like
Yes.
the currency to unlock those things, not the extinction points. So there's
Well,
more to
from
it
what
there.
I thought, you got like a lifetime extinction point value, and that's what you're cashing in for those things. Like
Maybe that's what it
when I
was.
when you clear the game, you get a clear time. For me, I got a cool picture of Dylan driving a sports car. And I got my like total extinction points earned throughout my gameplay, and that was the value I was spending from to buy
Oh, maybe that was it then.
characters for extra crisis. So I think it's just like what, but to your point, like if you replay the campaign, that's how you get more points to unlock things for extra crisis.
I mean, it's nothing pretty to look at. You're literally on like green wireframe killing these
Okay.
killing these dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But yeah, like different. I think it's the same. Yeah, it's the same dinosaur run, but the different characters have different weapons, and you have to know you're able to pause. Like if you know you can pause, you can switch your weapons and get your secondaries and
Right.
stuff like that. But yeah, after a couple times dying to dinosaurs I just could not kill, I realized, oh, I wonder if I could change. I sure can.
Got it. I'm double checking my notes to make sure I don't have anything written down. The only other thing I have written down is just a quote. Look, this is David's mark. Because I remembered the way that Dylan said that.
Stupid.
Matt, where do you rank this thing here? You can, of course, follow along if you're watching, or over at thefreecheese.com/the list, where we rank every video game we play. Dino Crisis 2 is going to be our 133rd video game.
Let me pull up the thing here. I have this as the new 46.
Ooh, all right.
Or wait, no, hold on.
Nope.
There's a discrepancy here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, I need the refresh. That's my bad.
No, I don't think I think I forgot to update the list
That's okay. All right, so okay, looking at the
on
other,
the site.
okay, look at the other list. uh, I have it as a new 46
Okay.
between Return to Castle Wolfenstein and Phasmophobia.
Okay. Well, that was all right. So that's still accurate to what's on the site then. Um, I was a little touch higher. I had it as the new 37. Um, above Civ 6, but below Hypnospace. Specifically, I think my eye caught Parasite Eve and Ape Escape right in that PS1 hot center in the 30s. And I don't think this is as strong as either of those. And I came down and I was like, I don't think it's as strong as Hypnospace either, but I did like it more than Civ 6.
My
So I'm
only
there. Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
glaring gem. I don't mind coming higher because I think I was around there, but the glaring problem for me is Resident Evil Code Veronica X because I think that game's better than Dino Crisis 2. I think the
See, that's
characters are better. I like the story better. You get the Chris and Jill playthrough. I that's my thing, but maybe that's preference.
I'm no, like I struggled with it too because I looked at that when I was putting my ranking down, and I was like, I think for me, I like this better than RE CVX because of approachability and whatever. Like CVX is a tough game, and it's a little bit different in terms of just like how you interact with it. Where this was really approachable, really easy to get through. Like um, but I agree. I think the story in Code Veronica X is better. I do think it's overall like the puzzle solve, everything in that game is really, really well done. And it's of course absurd by the end of it.
But my bot, so like my decision making, my bottom was Resident Evil 5. I was like, this is better than Resident Evil 5 because Resident
I
Evil 5 is
agree.
doing the thing that Resident Evil 4 is doing, and I think this is better. I thought 4 is just a better game, but I think 5 it's not as good as Dino Crisis 2. So that's where like my floor was, and I kind of crept up. Um,
Yeah, because as I come down from CVX, I'm like, Guardian Legends better, Ring Fit's better. Yeah, like I'm following the same logic you are on that. I would I would argue for Luigi's Mansion over this. Luigi's Mansion's just like such a tight
that's
experience.
fine. No, I like that. I just placed it because of Phasmophobia. But if you're arguing for Luigi, I have no problem putting it at what would that be 48.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I like this better than Castle Wolfenstein and Phasmophobia.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's
just that
that.
tough.
But
Welcome
I
to the
think Luigi's
list.
Mansion.
Don't know if you
Yeah,
know
dude.
it. This is what we do on a weekly basis. This kind of sucks now.
Stay tuned. Matt had a good idea to fix things in a way. Whoops, don't do that.
Uh,
Dino Crisis 2,
where are we?
the new 48.
48 between Lugu and RE5, right?
RE5, that's the spot. Yep.
I can actually probably zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, there we go.
We did it. Yeah, man, I'm super stoked. I was really, I don't know if nervous is the right word, but I was not stoked when you added this to the list. I was sort of just like, ah, man, especially after Code Veronica, I was just like, "Ah, I can't do another tank control thing. Like, it was gonna drive me crazy. But playing it, I'm like, this was so much fun. I had a really, really good time with this game. And it, look, man, you know how all this stuff goes for me, where I will end up changing things on a whim based on whatever. But right now, in the wake of Dino Crisis 2 specifically, my season 14 shortlist
Oh,
is looking good. No, but I've gone very PlayStation 1 heavy, like inherently on my season 14 list. And then in the wake of playing this, I'm like, I'm thinking something for next year. So
we're
yeah.
talking about next year already. I already have my theme for next year, which is we're ahead of the game here, and I got 6 games.
You're very ahead.
I
Like
got
this
6 games. I
man.
know, I know.
Yeah, it's like
I
par for
don't
the
have a
course for me
video
to be
idea
ready to
yet,
go
though.
by
That's
now.
the problem. I'm trying to figure out how to loop that all in, but
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, realistically, as silly as it sounds to be there, like I think by August of last year, we were both pretty much locked in on our game lists, and we're only 4 months out from August at this point. So,
You will probably hate at least one, if not two, of these games. So this is these selections. So
good. That's fine. That's
just
what
bring them
most of.
bring
Yeah,
them on. Not for the
I got.
reason
I mean,
you
yeah.
think though. It's gonna be
Hmm.
why are we playing this?
There's only one I can think of right now that I really don't want to play, but
I don't think you. I don't think this game's on your radar. So it makes it even better.
oh boy, I don't know. We'll see.
Once I reveal my hand, it will make sense though.
Yeah, I get it. All right. Yeah, that's the best time. Speaking of the best time, we're going to go back to the best time in PlayStation Network's history when they made video games. Next week, and we're going to look at Flower. Come back and hang out with us then for 6:05 as the list keeps on climbing. We got a good rest of April planned. We're going to do a little dip into the trivia dungeon in a few weeks. We're going to play a cell phone video game. Got some stuff. Thefreecheese.com is our website. Podcast at thefreecheese.com is our email address. Until then, thank you, Matt. Thank you for hanging out with us. See you next time. Bye.